What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. It is week one. Finally, it's here. I'm excited. We're going to be doing roster construction and breaking down tomorrow's Thursday night game. So I'm excited. I got my man, Frank, over here. What's going on, Frank?
What's up, peoples? Yeah, now we're ready. I can't wait, man. Tomorrow, finally, it's the first game. Let's go.
Yeah. So I'm going to do some house cleaning real quick just to get us to go. Just so people weren't aware, if you weren't here last time, our listener league was on SiriusXM Radio. So make sure you guys check that out. They are replaying it. If you do have a subscription to SiriusXM Radio, it will be replayed. So just take a look up, look for it. And yeah, they did our draft. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun to listen to. A lot of fun to talk to Kyle and to Ray Flowers as well. So that was an interesting thing. And a big, huge shout out to Wilson for getting us involved. And thank you for winning that contest. It's fantastic. So thank you to Wilson. That was a huge deal. We really enjoyed that a lot. Also, need to bring this up as well. So make sure you guys are getting people to come in and subscribe to the show because we have our 600 subscriber giveaway. It's a signed Gabriel Davis jersey. We are giving this away. Come on now. We need 600 subscribers to do this. So make sure you guys are getting anyone you can. Frank grabs people's phones all the time and just puts us in there, Then I see it go up one and then it goes down, the next day. But it's okay.
I'm put it on there right now.
So make sure you guys are subscribing to the show. We're going to be giving that away. It is only to subscribers. So make sure you guys check that out and make sure you guys are subscribing as well.
Now I want to go back to that SiriusXM thing.
Sure.
That was a big deal, man.
Yeah.
I got to listen to it. I got to listen to their takes. They did. It does hurt to hear it from somebody else, but maybe I could have did better in some roster construction. But overall, they liked my team, so I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, we won to get there. So we won the contest to be the team that they put it on there. And they evaluated. They were actually surprised how fast we went through our draft. And
yeah.
I think we mocked so much that it was like, boom, everybody knew who they wanted, or it wasn't like nobody was using up the whole clock, basically.
No,
it wasn't lagging. The draft just kept on moving, and it was a lot of fun. If you have SiriusXM, check it out. It was a pretty cool show.
Yeah, I mean, and the other cool part was, I wanted to tell them and I didn't get a chance to, but we did the 90-second clock because we know how bad Sleeper can be with the mobile app, and a lot of times there's a lot of glitches. And not to say it's a horrible ad, I love the platform. Unfortunately, it has those glitches, and we wanted to make sure everyone gets their pick in, so we made it a little bit longer than normal. But we do this so much, and you guys, the listeners, always have been so great. All the guys that were involved in the listener league, thank you for coming through and being a part of that. So that was a great night of drafting. The whole thing was fantastic. Another little thing that I wanted to make sure you guys are aware of, this guy right up here, the good old Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy. Make sure that you guys, today is really the last day to get a best ball in. But if you don't,
get some in.
Yeah, you got to get it in now. Otherwise, it's going to be closing up right before kickoff. Make sure you guys are using the promo code GETRIGHT. That's right here below. When you guys do that, it will match what you put in. So make sure you guys are doing that. Best Ball Mania, I think, is wrapping up soon. So make sure. I know that there's a puppy in there. That's a $5 entry fee to get in. So make sure you guys are doing that. After this is gone, don't worry. They got plenty of things coming. They got tons of picks, and they just introduced insurance. So for those who do pick them and those who do like prop betting with Underdog, one thing that they do is you would pick 6, projections.
Yeah.
And, over, under. And
I like those.
If you click insurance now, if you get 5 of 6, you still win. So make sure you guys are checking that out. More than likely, they take a little something extra. But at the same time, make sure you guys are checking it out. There's a lot of fun things. I'm going to be going over some of that stuff when I do my Sunday morning show. to make sure that we can do, get you guys involved with that as well. I'll be doing a little bit of FanDuel as well, setting up your DFS rosters as well. So I'm excited, man. We're back into the mojo of things. It's going back to the way it was. Oh, just can't wait. We'll be back here on Friday, me, Ant, and we're going to be doing the breakdown of everything. And hopefully, we're going to get that show to go a little faster this time. We have a plan, and we're going to hopefully keep it. So make sure you guys check out Friday's show as well. We're going to do a little bit of start sit. So if you have any questions for that, make sure you guys are doing that as well. So we have a question real quick before we get into the breakdown of Thursday night. We got Equinus Penny Feather X, or 9, it looks like. So he goes Jalen Waddle, Chris Godwin, I'm assuming that's Dameon Pierce at the flex, and that looks like full PPR. So Frank, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Godwin.
Godwin?
Yeah, I would say Godwin on that one.
Okay.
But I do like Dameon Pierce. But I'm going to stick with Godwin, even though he's coming back from the whole injury thing, this and that. Things are looking good. I think he'll be fine. I think out of the three, he's probably the best option.
Yep. Okay. For me, I like to aim a little bit closer to the guy that's going to get more touches. That's just me. I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to look up real quick who Pierce has. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'm looking on my board right now, trying to find who's playing who. We got the Giants, we got Seattle, Buffalo, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is facing the Dallas Cowboys. So he's going, that's my thinking. If healthy against the Cowboys, I think he can do well. See, my only issue with playing Chris Godwin is I feel like they might ease him in compared to giving him everything at once. Miami's facing New England. I don't mind the Waddle pick here. Dameon Pierce. Yeah, and then that was my next thing is that, Dameon Pierce is going to be going against the Indianapolis Colts. I like the match. I just like the matchup better with Waddle. Honestly, I think Waddle might have a better game. I know there's a lot of mouths to feed there, but same in, Tampa in a way. So I'm going to stick with Jalen Waddle, go with the young guy. So
with the young guy?
Yeah, stick with the young guy. We got Raymond in here. Raider Nation 209 is taking it at all this year. Yeah, we hope so. Or,
he's in our league, so that's why he's chiming in here. He's in our home leagues. He's part of both of our home leagues, so he's just trying to stake his claim for the championship.
Very cool.
Be the champ, man. To just keep telling people that.
Very cool. So we're gonna break down Thursday night real quick.
Repeat. I just want to mention that.
No worries. I didn't even know. I was like, it made sense though. It made sense at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So Thursday night we got Buffalo Bills going against the Los Angeles Rams in Los Angeles. The Bills are favored away by 2.5 points. Over under is 52. The one thing I will say for this game, just make sure you start everybody. I mean, you drafted all these guys to either start or bench. There's only going to be a few guys that you might have questions about in any shape, way, or form. So you're starting guys like Diggs. You're starting guys like, Dawson Knox, Josh Allen, Gabriel Davis. You're starting Matthew.
Don't get fancy.
Yeah. You're doing Stafford, Kupp, Robinson, Akers. They're all starts. So just make sure you guys are doing that. Ignis Penny Feather, he goes, already thanks. In my other league, I'm deciding between ETN, but I think I'm going to start on St. Brown no matter what. That's a very tough choice. I really do think that's probably your toughest one right there. And going with Ahmad is not a bad choice. I do think they're going to favor him. The only thing that I would suggest is that their line is a little beat up in the middle. Yeah. So Dustin goes, so who wins in an arm wrestling contest? Franker Classic. We'll find that out later.
Never know.
Yeah, we're too far away to know this, Dustin. We'll work on it. But guys, that are on the cusp that you might be thinking about for this game. It's Singletary, Higbee, Isaiah McKenzie, James Cook, Darrell Henderson, and one other guy that people are thinking about is Ben. I can't say his name right. It's their third receiver, Ben Schwarmsworth. Yeah, I can't even say his name. I just know that he was there last year.
Ben S.
Yeah, Schwarmanesque. I don't know. Anyway, he's an option as well. They said that they're looking to favor him a little bit in that wide receiver 3 spot with Van Jefferson out. So to me, if you're looking to start people in that flex area, I think Singletary isn't a horrible option. I do like Henderson as well, even though they're, each one is in a running back by committee. So I think as flex plays, they're not horrible. So that's my take on it. What about you, Frank?
I like McKenzie. I like Isaiah McKenzie. Let's see. Hopefully James Cook gets on the field and get some things in, and that'll help his value go up tremendously. And hopefully you have him. If you don't, maybe you need to go get him. Yeah, I like McKenzie too, though. So hopefully, it's all. It's the first game. We don't hardly have anything going on with some of these guys. So give us a couple weeks once the dust settles a little bit. Because what happened preseason is not what's going to start happening here in these first couple of games. You know what I mean?
I agree, and one thing that I've noticed is, I listen to Sirius a lot when I'm in the car, and they were having a debate. I think it was Mike Florio and his co-host, and I forgot who he is off the top of my head, so I apologize. But they were arguing over the usage of McKenzie, and for me, and the guy that Mike Florio is a Bills fan, and he kept fighting for McKenzie as being an option. And I was kind of behind him, that he's the slot guy. He's the number 3 guy. They paid him to be there. They let go of Cole Beasley. That argument I stuck with. I was like, yes, but he's not as polished as Cole Beasley, and he isn't as talented as Cole Beasley in that particular role. So he's not gonna win you a league. He's not going to win you anything. So he's not someone I'm starting. He's not someone I'm rostering. Do I think he's a talented football player? Yes, I think he is. But I don't want him on my team because I don't think he's going to do anything to help me. He only had 30 catches,
really?
I think
he's going to do better than that.
I don't think he's someone you roster. I don't think he's anyone that you put in your starting lineup at the end of the day. Like, unless you have a really deep team. Like, if you're starting, 15 people – and you have a 28 roster bench or something like that, and you need a guy, go for it, enjoy it. But he only had 30 catches last season, and on top of that, he's just not that type of player. Now, could his usage increase this year without guys like Cole Beasley? Yeah, but they do still have Jamison Crowder. They still have a decent roster. They just paid Dawson Knox for a 4-year deal, 4-year extension. Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm just not on board with him as a person that I want to plug in. Now, he's someone that people in 16-team or 18-team leagues that might want to play him. But in this case, for me, I'm not playing him. So we got Albert in here saying, what up, everybody? What's going on, Albert? How you doing, brother? So what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be talking about guys like Isaiah McKenzie and the concept of guys – and no, we were not talking about Gabe Davis, but I will say, love Gabe Davis. Play him now. There was a tweet that came out from who was doing it. I think Mark Harmon interviewed Stephon Diggs, and Diggs was like, "You guys better be starting Gabe Davis. He's on the same team, and he's like they're going to target him. So just get him involved. I hope you were able to get him. We got him." In our podcast league, believe me, I had to coax Stan into doing it. I was like, come on. I'm like, it's our third wide receiver. I want him. And he let me get him. So thank you, Ant. I appreciate it. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about free agent additions that we think that you should add to your team. These are more bench options. These aren't guys that you're probably going to be starting week 1, but these guys might have some value coming in the next 3-4 weeks. And there's a lot of reason for it. There's a lot of hype on these guys and a lot of, just general reasons why you would want these particular players. We're going to just start with QBs and then work our way down. A lot of these players, all of these players are going to be under 50% owned. if they're 50% owned or rostered, you don't need to know about them. Those guys you're going to pick up anyway. Yeah, or you know about it.
They're probably on your team, or you know about them.
Yeah. So before we get started with that, we got Joffrey in here. Joffrey plays. What's going on, brother? Should I start Mooney or Godwin week 1?
Everybody's asking about Godwin.
Yeah, Godwin's a big question. And it's really, I mean, it's the big question because he's going to be eased in my opinion. I don't think, I keep seeing things that he's been full go at practice, that he's ready to go. He's ahead of schedule, but guys like Mike Gallup, who are right on the same timeline, aren't playing week 1. I don't know how much I trust it. The game is also, if memory serves, that game is at 8:20. So
yes, the Sunday night.
That's the Sunday night game. If you have somebody on your Monday night squad that you can go and like be like, oh, maybe he'll play. That's the other part about it that I'm a little bit nervous about even thinking about using him. I'd rather use Darnell Mooney. I know he's going to play. I know he's going to be out there. I rather
he wants to play it safe, and if you want to go for the win, go with Godwin.
Well, but you might not be going for the win, and you might miss out on the opportunity of using Mooney because of the concept that it's a Sunday night game.
I just remember the last time the Cowboys played Tampa Bay, and it was the first game of the season as well. And it was literally within 2 points, and it was a high-scoring game.
No, I remember.
I think that they're going to shoot it out, and I think that Godwin's going to get a share of touches. And he's going to get a touchdown. I hate to say that because I was playing the Cowboys, but it's going to be a reality of it.
And that's if he plays, and that's where my whole thing is. I rather start Mooney knowing that he's going to be on the field.
I don't think they want to sit him so they get the L.
I rather sit Godwin and wait the week because I know that if I have both of those guys, I have a decent roster behind it. So why not start somebody that's a little safer than the upside? Because if my roster's stacked, so he says that he also has ETN and Damon Pierce now that he got named the starter. So he has a decent, roster. I'm assuming you went. This looks. I did so many mocks that I've gotten to the point where he probably picked up ETN in the 3rd, which means he went with wide receiver in the 1st, is my guess, if anything. Is ETN your RB1 with Damon Pierce's RB2? If that's the case, then you're a little bit stuck at flex, which then can make me understand why you want to ask between Mooney and Godwin. So, in my opinion, I think you should be starting Darnell Mooney. You have a better option, better situation. Who are they facing? They're facing the San Francisco 49ers, who are beat up at D-back. The matchup's better to me. They're playing in Chicago. It's a home game. I feel better about that for Darnell Mooney than I do for Chris Godwin playing on Sunday night. And even if he plays and gets a touchdown, the end of the day, you then have somebody that you can use next week and do just as well moving forward. So that's just me. So got two different opinions.
Yeah. And I would play ATN on that part of it.
Oh, yeah, no. So, no, I have Dalvin Cook as running back 1. Should I have ETN and Pierce at RB2? That's a good question.
Etienne's going up against Washington, and Dameon Pierce is going up against Indy.
So both are good. Both are good defensive matchups. If it's PPR, I would probably go ETN. If it's like standard or half PPR, I might be okay with Dameon Pierce. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. I mean, they're both good defenses. I think ETN might be the better option just because they might be playing from behind a little bit more, which means a little bit more pass heavy, with little dump out passes. I know that James Robinson came back and everyone's freaking out. But I would still, trust the system. Dameon Pierce, yeah, he's a 2-down back. Burkhead's still there. It's the same story. So like I said, it's based on the scenario and the league. So if it's PPR, I would definitely go ETN. If it was anything less than full, I would go Dameon Pierce. So
I would just trust ETN at this point because of what you're saying. I don't know if James Robinson is going to steal that many touches away. I do like James Robinson definitely as a handcuff.
Yeah.
And everything like that. And maybe they will, two-head monster this thing. I'm not so sure that they'll do the same thing with Burkhead, because Burkhead's always been a third down type of running
Oh, I
back.
agree.
You know what I
Completely
mean?
agree.
He's never been a full time running back, which gives a little bit edge to Pierce, and he's shouldered the load before in college, so he's used to taking it on. So, I like Pierce there. I just want to see more of it, like in real situations now, because he looked good in preseason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Preseason. Yeah.
but again, that's preseason. Let's see how it works out in real games. So I'd still stick with the Etienne on that.
Yeah.
Dustin's throwing the monkey wrench in this whole thing. Sky or Dubes?
This is a tough one. It's probably going to be Sky, and because I rather keep Dobbs just because of the.
Quarterback?
Yeah, well, they're both good quarterbacks. They're both good. They're both third wide receiver on their team. It's such a hard choice. I think Dobbs is more heavy. He'll be more heavily involved because, excuse me, the news today about Alan Lazard being out of practice. He could be used at least for this week. We know that Dobbs could be used. Sky, I think it will be.
I would say the reason I'd say that is I've seen a tweet or whatever. KC over here. Help me out here. Can't think of his name now. It just
Who?
blank my mind.
For
QB,
Kansas City?
Kansas City.
Mahomes?
Mahomes. So Mahomes recently said, "Oh, I apologize to my fantasy guys, basically, because he's going to be spreading the ball around this season. So to say any one of these guys is going to be like the main guy, because I mean, when he had Hill, I think he got 30% of the targets or whatever." Or more. I forgot what he got, but he garnered. But that was a lot. You know what I mean? So now he's going to spread it around. So I'd stick with Dubes because, how should I put it? Rodgers does like to just pick the guy and stick with the guy. When he gets a hot hand on somebody in a game or anything like that, he'll keep feeding his guy.
Yeah.
And he makes that happen. And that's why we're going to bring up some guy later on. Is another reason why.
A few guys.
I might as well just talk about it now. Robert Tunyon's another guy that we have on the list later on for a tight end, because I believe that Rodgers he has some rapport with Tunyon. So that so he's the guy that maybe he's like what do you call it, a season guy to Rodgers. Just because of the relationship and the touches, and he's had a three touchdown games, at least one, but a couple of games where he's thrown touchdowns to him. So I think him and Dubes would get opportunities. Are they number ones? Are they the first guy on the team? I don't know. That's all, that's waiting to see. But I'd rather see that than, Sky over at KC with Mahomes.
And then he goes
spread it out even more.
Then he goes from Dubes versus Watson, and I'm assuming this is Christian Watson's in because of the concept that he has literally every rookie wide receiver on the face of the earth. So for me, Dubes. I would stick with Dubes. I don't like Christian Watson's situation. They're both on the same team. Two, he's down on the list. He's a raw talent. It's just they're gonna play Dubes a little more. So I'm gonna stay with that. And then he goes, is AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones the same as Zeke and Pollard? I think so.
I think that's very good
comparison. I think they're the same exact thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good comparison. But except for the fact that I think that Aaron Jones has been running harder than Zeke lately. And,
fair.
Let's see if Zeke comes back. As I said, he's in the best form now for sure. He's literally when he first signed. So,
Dust, do me a favor. I know you got hundreds.
I think it's time to start Pollard.
Yeah, I agree. I know you got hundreds going for us, guy, but let's wait a minute. We got tons of roster stuff to talk about. So he's saying start one, stash one, cut one. Oh my.
Burst, Breece Hall.
You're gonna start.
I would stash Breece Hall because he's not starting right now. They already said Michael Carter's going to be starting. Let's see when he's going to get enough play time to be valuable, to be worthy of starting.
Okay.
Traylon Burks is still kind of injured. I'm going to go with Chris Olave as the start.
Okay.
Maybe cut Traylon. Who knows? Some people are cutting him.
I wouldn't
cut the running back. Keep the running back.
No, you gotta stash or start Breece Hall. You have to. If anyone that I'm cutting out of this, it's Olave. Even though I like the talent,
Really?
Traylon Burks and Olave are in the same situation. It's so hard. I like
He's
Burks.
gonna be opposite of Michael Thomas over there, right?
Well, technically, Jarvis Landry's there as two. He's more of a slot guy.
He's more of
Traylon Burks isn't even starting as the three, or sorry, he's the three, and one of the guys we're going to be talking about is actually the two. So
see,
he's
that's what I'm
gonna,
saying. So that's why you cut Burks.
yeah. I mean, they're the same general guy. That's why I'm like, and the Titans don't run a lot of three wide, so yeah, maybe Burks.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, that
Talk
sucks.
yourself into it, even.
Then he's going Olave, Burks, or London. I mean, Burks, I guess. London's in a good situation,
Yeah,
even though he's hurt and he was limited today. So,
right, so who we got next?
all right. So let's go with the QBs, and we're going to start. We're going to start with QBs first, and we're going to go with. We got another one. Oh, okay. The Check Down podcast is brand new, so it's the two-a-days guys. They got a makeover. What's up, guys? How's it going there, Cody? They changed it to the Check Down podcast. Very nice. Glad you guys picked a new name. Glad to have you guys back. If you guys have questions, we'll get into that when we get to it. So QBs, we're gonna start with We're gonna start here in New York and start with Joe Flacco. He's 3% owned. He's facing Baltimore this week. I know. I'm not saying to start this guy. I'm not saying to do anything like that. He's literally just named the starter for the next 3 to 4 weeks. He's got Cincy. He's got New England. He's got Cleveland. Or sorry, I'm talking about the wrong guy. For me, he's literally a third QB in Superflex. He's just a guy to sit on your bench. It's just someone to have. It's an extra guy to hold on to. He's got Cleveland and Cincy next. I really just want him just as a stash. He's someone I'm just keeping on my bench if I don't have the 3 QBs that I normally would for Superflex. That's really it. He's not someone I'm starting. You agree?
Yeah, I wouldn't start him.
I wouldn't start him.
I'm scared to start.
Frank, you got the next one. Who do you have?
Yeah, so I the guy I'm picking, and he is only 16% rostered, is Jimmy G. And the reason I say Jimmy G is because Trey Lance literally has a little over 400 passes under his belt. He's the most unknown thing that's on there. I've seen him personally. I didn't see enough out of that kid to say, oh yeah, he's going to be the next guy. And even in preseason, he had one good game, one bad game, but it's not. You haven't been sold on him. There's a reason why San Francisco made sure they re-signed Jimmy G for one more year just to make sure they got something out of Trey Lance here, because they did give the contract to Trey Lance, and I think they might have shot themselves in the foot because Jimmy G's been doing good for them. So yeah, I would definitely stash him. Not you don't have to start him, but if you're kind of weak at quarterback, maybe you're in a super flex league, or maybe you need a bye week guy already or something like that, or you just happen to be a 49ers fan or something. That's who I would be having on my bench. Yeah, definitely just as a handcuff option. That's the majority of it is just a handcuff. If you have Trey Lance, handcuff this guy. That way, when Trey Lance doesn't become a starter, you got a viable starter in GBG. You do.
Yeah, for sure.
That's basically it.
No, I like it. I agree. I think Jimmy G is probably one of the better options. I'd definitely pick Jimmy over Joe Flacco, just because of the whole system. He fits well there. He's a good quarterback. Flacco, yes, he could. He is a starter compared to Jimmy G, but his upside is higher. So I'd rather go with someone like Jimmy. So next on the list that I got is Mitch Trubisky. He was just literally named the starter in Pittsburgh. He's got Cincinnati, New England, Cleveland, and the Jets. That's the guy I was talking about before on the games in the coming weeks. For me, he's the same as Flacco. He's kind of like a starting quarterback that you can have, but he's more of a third QB that you want to hold on your bench and see what happens. See how that team works. See how the whole thing develops. Maybe he ends up being something decent as a low-end QB2.
You never know. Some guys change teams and they have a resurgence. All of a sudden, that's all they needed was a new opportunity at a different team, and next they're new men.
Yeah, and you know what? Matt Nagy is was never the best quarterback, or not quarterback. He wasn't the best coach. He wasn't the best to help with Trubisky. So for me, Tomlin knows what he's doing. He has a good, coaching staff around him. I do think that Mitch could maybe do well in this group. He's only 15% rostered. So if you're looking for that second guy or that third guy that you want to put in, or even your low second, like he's not a horrible option. So make sure you guys, take a look if you need to. Otherwise, stick with what you got.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Next, I got good old Rex Burkhead. And we're going to go to the running backs now. Yeah. Good old running backs, Rex Burkhead. He's 12% rostered. I know this guy isn't a sexy choice. We were just talking about him 10 seconds ago. He's not sexy. He's literally he's a third down guy. He's going to get in on passing downs. That's about it. If you are Dameon Pierce, pick him. If you have Dameon Pierce, pick him up. He's not a bad option. He has shouldered the load a little bit when he was in New England. If you guys remember, he was the guy coming in and taking a lot of snaps away from guys, in the past. So for me, I am more than capable. I am more than okay with taking someone like Rex Burkhead, who does still have a little bit of, I wouldn't say a lot of juice, but he has a good amount of juice left in him where he can be, at least helpful. God forbid Dameon Pierce or something happens in that, scenario.
They might even give him goal line touches.
Oh, for sure.
Because he used to do that a lot in New England.
Yeah, and everyone
snipe a touchdown from somebody.
And every rookie quarterback, or at least sophomore, or any guy that's brand new to a system, loves checking it down to the wide, or to the quarter. Or wow, I'm having a day. Going down to the running back and just checking downs. And Rex Burkhead is the check down king. So I'm pretty sure that that's not a bad pick. The next guy is a little bit more rostered, but he's definitely someone you guys should be checking into if he's on your waivers, and that's Mike Davis. He probably didn't clear waivers. He probably got taken, but he's only 39% rostered, so I'm assuming he's available. J.K. Dobbins is limited in practice today. We know that Gus Edwards is going to be out for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
And they signed a backup. I forgot who it was.
They signed Kenyon Drake. They have Justice Hill. So they have guys on the team. But you know what? Kenyon Drake isn't a horrible option either. But I would go with Davis over him. Davis will get the first crack at it. And to be completely honest, you're going against the New York Jets in the first game. So if you need a guy to spot start, Mike Davis is your guy. He's a guy that can come in, fill in. If you picked up a bunch of guys that got hurt or guys that are getting hurt, and you need that little quick flex fill in,
or you got those early running backs that you're not the rookie running backs you're not too sure of yet.
Yeah,
this guy's going to get you some touches. He's going to get some real work. He's going to be the starter, so you could put him in as a safer bet for the next couple of weeks till it's time to throw in your rookie or somebody that actually plays out for you.
Yeah, and we do know that J.K. Dobbins will be back at one point. He's ahead of schedule and he's doing okay, but right now there's a lot of things that are going on that I keep hearing from experts in general that keep saying that he's not even being involved in 11 on 11. He's really just doing team drills and limited, or not team drills. He's doing side work with limited usage. So I'm not really trusting that scenario. I think Mike Davis is a great pick if you're looking just for a 1 week guy to get you through and a guy that you can hold on your bench for a minute after the fact.
Yeah.
Another guy
for them late like that just for that same reason. I just need a guy for a couple weeks.
Quick fill. Next we got Jalen Warren. He's Pittsburgh Steelers number 2 running back at this point, and he is number 2 on the depth chart. There wasn't a mistake. It was the second time they looked at it. It is now official. He is the number 2. They said apparently there was a typo and something happened where, Mason Rudolph was the number 2 and then Kenny Pickett was number 3 and then they fixed it. Anyway, it still had Jalen Warren as the number 2. So make sure, if you are the Najee Harris owner, he is definitely someone I would pick up. He's 6% rostered at this point for sleeper. He is listed on Pittsburgh's depth chart as the number 2. Any running back in Tomlin in the run game, it's guaranteed volume. So if Najee goes down there, he's getting a ton of volume. Right now, if you didn't know, Najee Harris has been dealing with the Liz Frank, sprain in camp so far, and it's only a sprain. There's nothing. There's no tear. There's no nothing, but that can linger for a minute. So he does carry a lot of load. He's a big dude, so I think it's just insurance to grab him if you have Najee. That's the only thing that I think.
That's your handcuff.
Yeah. And if you don't, then someone else will do it for you.
Right?
So I'm going to take a question from Cody real quick. He says, full PPR, Godwin, another Godwin question, with Thomas, if he plays, or Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm going to just stick to the guy, as you just kind of alluded to, the guy that's going to play. Like I want the guy that I know is going to be on the field, and that guy is Juju Smith-Schuster. So for me, Juju is probably going to be my choice here. I don't trust Thomas yet. I want to see it. I want to see what happens first before I even touch him. Godwin, same thing. So that's me though.
On this occasion, I will side with Mike. I would take Juju over the other two. I would take Juju because he has a better opportunity over there at KC, new team and all that. Let's see what happens. But he wasn't injured. He wasn't coming off problems. The other two guys have been injured. That's why they're coming back off injuries. And as Mike wants to say, he's they might ease him in, and they both might get eased in. I think Thomas is ready. Obviously, he's been like a year removed from his injury or whatever it is now. So, I think Juju's still, regardless of that, a better upside option than the other two. Now, if I didn't have Juju, would I play Godwin or Thomas? I would probably still stick to Godwin. If Thomas plays, then I would take Thomas over Godwin.
I'd probably go Thomas over Godwin, and it's really the matchup because they're facing Atlanta. Like that's if you're going to take Juju out of the equation and go Godwin Thomas, I'm taking Thomas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I might take Thomas after that, right?
Yeah, I have to. I don't trust Godwin yet. I didn't draft him in any of my leagues. I didn't do anything to try to to get him because I didn't trust the I don't trust the process. You're coming back way too early. It's just, they have these things for a reason. Like I get Cam Akers coming back early, whatever. We kind of knew about it last year when he was coming back that last week, in the playoffs and whatever. Okay, great. But at the end of the day, was it worth it? Yeah, in a way, and he's fine now. But I don't see it as being a good idea for them who are now short with a bunch of linemen. And they kind of need to just kind of get by. And I think that they're going to just try to keep everybody healthy. And, I don't think that they want to push Godwin back. So I think they're going to ease him in, 3 catches for 20 yards or something like that, something small. But at the end of the day, I think Thomas will have a bigger day just because he's a little bit farther ahead in the process.
I'm thinking if he plays, he plays.
Yeah.
I'm thinking so he's going to do what his normal thing is if he plays at all.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So we're going to move on to Sammy Watkins. And we're going to, I was going to say wide receivers, but the next guy is Sammy Watkins, the Lizard King.
Right.
He is 34% rostered, and we're going to talk about him like we were before about Dobbs. He's listed as the wide receiver 2 in Green Bay right now as the official, unofficial depth chart. He is the number 2 wide receiver right now in Green Bay. Lazard, like I said before, he did not practice today. We'll have to check the reports tomorrow to see what happens. And, apparently the report was that he got stepped on.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay. Well, it is what it is. But Watkins is next in line. He is the most experienced out of everybody in this particular wide receiver room. So for me, I think Sammy Watkins isn't a horrible option if you are short at wide receiver and you need a 1-week play. I mean, they are playing – who are they playing this week? They're playing Minnesota, who has been not that great against the pass they haven't been good against the pass in the past. So make sure, he's somebody at least to have on your bench to – we don't know how long this Lazard thing might be going on. Maybe this is a long-term deal. And for all those who actually –
Watkins becomes a thing, he'll stay there.
Yeah. And the other thing, you can go with the 1 week miracle that he always puts up like 3 touchdowns and 100 yards, 100 plus yards every week one. So if you want to go that route, go that route. That's up
Fired
to
him
you.
up for daily fantasy. Is that what you're saying there?
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely picking him in daily fantasy, especially if Lazard's out. So next is AJ Green. So I picked AJ Green here. He's 23% rostered. Okay, and I'm gonna break down why. No DeAndre Hopkins. Hollywood Brown is currently nursing an injury, and he was limited. Zach Ertz still nursing a calf injury from the beginning of the month.
Yes,
Rondell Moore has an undisclosed injury at this time, and someone needs to catch the ball.
Yeah.
He's the last guy there. So, I mean, AJ Green at one point in his career, he was an elite wide receiver. He has Murray throwing him the ball. He had 80 plus targets during the season. I think he's a solid option to use on your team, even if he's on your bench. God forbid everything happens. It's at least 6 weeks worth that you can use him. If nothing works out for the wide receiver group, I honestly think he might be the most targeted guy, at least for the 6 weeks. Based on when and if Ertz comes back healthy. They're saying that he will. He's been limited, so Ertz should be okay. As long as he gets 3 limited in, he should be all right for the game. Even if he's limited in the game, Green's going to be getting the ball. So he's someone I'm looking to roster a little bit more, just because I honestly think you can do well.
There's nobody else to throw to, as you mentioned. That just kind of like leaves only you and the island, right?
Yeah.
So to break it up for you real quick, Mike, I'll get my guy in there real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
20% rostered. He's the speed guy, and he's going to get a shot over in Denver. We got some other starters going on over there, but he's a guy that if you have the room or you need a wide receiver in the future because you're kind of weak on it and you got some spots, then throw him on the bench, keep him tucked away till something happens and he pops. He is coming back from an ACL tear from last year, and that's why you didn't see a lot of him. But he was the speed option, so he's a guy to just kind of just keep an eye on. And if you need somebody, throw him in the slot and wait it out. That way you already have him. You don't have to worry about him when he does get that good game, and then next everybody's picking him up.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely the slot guy there now. He's definitely a good option for me. Definitely a guy to keep on my bench and see what happens. So I like it. I like it a lot. The next guy that we have that I have listed is Nick. I'm gonna butcher the last name, so I'm just gonna call him Westbrook at this point. But his name is Nick Westbrook from the Tennessee Titans, the wide receiver. He's 8% rostered, and I don't understand it. He wasn't even in some leagues. He wasn't even drafted because everyone was drafting Treylon Burks because of the rookie and blah blah blah. Westbrook is listed as the number 2 receiver on the team's depth chart. Like, it's Robert Woods and Westbrook, and then Burks. So yet Burks is being rostered more and is drafted more than Westbrook. Westbrook was a solid option when he was in Tennessee last season. I see him as someone that's at least for now stash and see what happens. See what the usage is with this team. We all know that they run the ball a lot. They use 2 wide receiver sets a little bit more than most compared to the 3 wide. So for me, I just much rather have the second receiver compared to having Burks kind of there but not, and they might use him a little more sparingly. But so for me, I think Nick Westbrook could have an opportunity here. So next we're gonna move on to tight ends, and the first one that I got is 29% rostered. This is really just, I'm kind of bashing my own team here, and it's for good reason, to be honest. It's Austin Hooper. And the reason why I'm bashing my team is because the Giants are facing the Tennessee Titans in week 1. So for me, I just rather have if you want to play Austin Hooper for DFS or just for, the fact that you need a tight end this week because maybe Ertz goes down or something, Ertz isn't playing this week and you need a quick grab, Austin Hooper might be your guy. 29% rostered. I mean, any tight end going against the Giants is going to be productive. I'm sorry. They cannot stop the tight end to save their life. it's guaranteed to get a touchdown in like 60 yards. So for me, I don't mind Hooper. I'm a big fan. So, grab him if you can.
Right. So my guy here for tight ends, I'll bring one in that I like a lot is Cameron Brate. Over there at Tampa Bay, Gronk is gone, so he's literally just got thrust into the number one spot. He's had decent games, okay, here and there with Tom Brady. He's got a couple touchdowns, not a lot. You know what I mean? There's it's just sporadic because obviously they had Gronk, so he was always the guy. But if every once in a while he'd catch that touchdown here and there when they needed a two tight end set. But now Brady's always throwing his tight ends. So I'm surprised he's so literally rostered. But I mean, he's a guy that you could throw again on your bench, see what happens. Again, he's got the goat throw into him. You can't go too bad. You know what I mean? Like it can't be that bad. You know what I mean? So
he's definitely
maybe even if you need somebody to start, it might be worth the start. You never know.
He's definitely a tight end option, or he's a touchdown option. Like for him, it's touchdown or bust. Like
touchdown dependent. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Very touchdown dependent. I mean,
but I think he could be more, though. You know what I mean? I think he could be more.
Oh no, I can agree with that. But they are trying to groom their the rookie guy that they have, Oten. Sorry. So they're trying to kind of groom him in a little bit, and like I said, they're going to ease Godwin in, and they also have Kyle Rudolph as well. They have a couple of guys, at tight end that they can use. Cameron Brate has definitely been there the longest. He knows the system. So I agree with you. It's just you got to. I think about the back end of it, because maybe he's good for a touchdown or two, early, and then they'll rotate, and then Oten will become the better option later. But Cameron Brate for a couple of weeks, I'm down. Keep him on your bench, or at least if you need a quick start, why not? I mean, the game's on Sunday night. If you need that, if you have a guy that's, I think Albert O's been on the injury report a little bit, and let's just say you have him or Noah Fan or something, and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna hold out and wait, and you want to play him, why not?
Yeah.
But
I think he's gonna surprise people.
Okay, no, that's good.
Back to you.
So I got Isaiah Likely. So for those who don't know Isaiah Likely, he's the rookie over at Baltimore. He's the second tight end on the team. He's 15% rostered right now, and everyone I bet is going, why the hell are you picking the number 2 tight end for the Baltimore Ravens? Like you already have, Mark Andrews there. Why are you picking this guy? This guy was heavily used in the preseason. They have already come out, and there are tons of reports. Even The Athletic have been talking about the concept that Likely is the third receiving option in Baltimore, even over Devin Duvernay. And I actually had Devin Duvernay on this list, and I actually took him off the list because of Isaiah Likely. So for me, it's not a bad move to have him on your bench. See what the team does with him. See how the year moves. And you know what? He could actually be a decent starter down the road. This is more for your Scotty Fishbowl league or your, tight end premium leagues where they get a little bit more, juice for catches and stuff like that. So for me, I just think Isaiah Likely is not a horrible option. I think he's actually someone that can really help you down the line. And he's a huge handcuff if Mark Andrews goes down. I know you shouldn't really handcuff your tight end, but sometimes it works. At least for this kind of scenario. So it is what it is.
Robert Tonyan, real quick again, another guy that we were talking about earlier. He did have 11 touchdowns in 2020. He does have, good rapport with, Aaron Rodgers. So, just want to bring him up again because we are talking about tight ends here real quick.
No, I agree. I think Robert Tonyan is a great option. He's trained with George Kittle. He knows what he's doing. He's definitely a decent option. They wanted him around. I don't know if they paid him yet, but they definitely want him there. They definitely see him as a someone they can use. So I agree. I think he's definitely someone to keep an eye on and have on your bench. Another option that Cody brought up is Hayden Hurst. Big time sleeper. I agree. I think he's someone that you can definitely, roster if you don't already. He's definitely someone I like as well. having the tight end in that Cincy offense is going to be something. Another guy that I wanted to bring up is Tyler Conklin. Now, hear me now. I think Tyler could actually be a very good high-end tight end 2, which means he could get up to
High-end
tight end 14 or 12. I actually think he's a valid option for the Jets. So the Jets picked up Tyler Conklin and CJ Uzama from the Bengals. So he's actually – they love running the 2 tight end set in this group. On top of that, he was a focal point in their preseason. And on top of that, sophomore quarterbacks, old quarterbacks, guys that have been playing forever, love the tight end because of the concept that, one, it's an easier throw, and it's they're able to get open. And Conklin is one guy that can actually get separation. So for me, I think Tyler Conklin is someone that is underutilized, underpicked in things like best ball, and also could be someone that you could target in daily fantasy every week and get decent results because he'll be so low on the price point. But Tyler Conklin's definitely someone that you guys should be keeping definitely keep your ears open for him. I definitely see down the line him being something. So you either roster him now, or we're going to be talking about him in 4 weeks saying that you should have rostered him when I said so back in week 1. So that's all I got for tight ends. The last thing that I got is defensive team.
Last but not least.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys are rostered. I mean, I'll bring up 2. 1, unfortunately, I don't know why I loaded this thing up with Tennessee Titans. I'm just hoping that the Giants can overcome this. But the Tennessee Titans, the only reason why I say this is because we are known that Daniel Jones is one of those guys that can turn the ball over a little too much. He's fumbled in the past. He's thrown interceptions. He is definitely someone that you want to target, unfortunately. So he's one of the guys that, one of the defenses that I would like, to own if you don't already. If you're one of those people that picks up everybody and you're waiting till the last minute to pick up a team, they play at 4:00. It's not a bad option. The other option, if you haven't already, the Denver Broncos, who are facing the Seattle Seahawks on Monday night. I'd pick them up already. They're a great option to pick up just because that's a juicy matchup that I want every bit. So do you have anybody that you have other than, everyone has the Ravens, everyone has, teams like Philly and San Francisco and, Carolina. Well, that might be a fun one. The Carolina Panthers or the Cleveland Browns. Pick one of the two.
Justin has Tennessee in every league.
Oh, of course he does. Of course you do. Should I just pick up Tampa Bay just to piss you off? Even though I come on now. That's just mean. Mean. Actually, another team that I would probably maybe target is New Orleans. They're facing Atlanta. New system, a whole new group of guys, and I don't trust Mariota one bit. I was having an argument with a guy today about Pitts, and still think he's going to be. Actually, Steffi Smalls asked everybody their bold predictions, and mine was, I know that I've been saying Kyle Pitts at tight end 8. I moved him all the way down to 10, and that he won't be a top 10 tight end. I know I could be wrong, but he was only, I think I did the math, and it was 12 points. He was 12 points from tight end 10. He was 5 points. Or no, he was 10 points away from being tight end 10 last year.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Cody's saying Miami. Miami might not be a bad option against New England. Yeah, they do well at home, so that's the only thing that I would actually go with. New England seems to not know what to do when they go to Miami, so that might be a good.
A bit, right?
They don't.
Stumble a little bit.
They never play well in Miami. I don't understand.
Well, they left early. They got there early. They're already there. Apparently, I heard a report that said they went down there to acclimate to the heat.
Interesting. Interesting. That's not a bad
I think
move.
that's been an
Not a
issue in
bad
the
move.
past because people they're not comfortable with that heat. They don't practice in that heat, and there's a lot of cramps. People get dehydrated and whatever, they get all cramped up, and maybe you cramp it up, you ain't gonna run nowhere.
No,
So
fair.
I think they got there early this year.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that. That's actually good to know. Cody said maybe Washington against Jags. Yeah. Um, yeah. I think they're still. I think they're a good defense, but I still think that that's going to be a
Did
little
what's his
bit of
name
a
just get
shootout.
suspended or
Is
injured?
Chase Young back?
Chase Young is hurt.
Yeah, I was going to say he's still
Last thing
hurt
I
from the
heard, he's
ACL.
done.
I think he's on the PUP list, if memory
Yeah,
serves me. So I'm going to
I'm
actually
looking it up right
double
now.
check
See what
that
the
right now because
yeah,
I'm pretty
Chase
damn
Young was moved
sure.
to the reserve pup list on Tuesday. Then we'll miss at least the first four
Yeah,
games of the season. So that'll change that defense because that dude's a baller right there
that guy.
for sure.
Yeah,
He makes a
he's
big
definitely
difference for the
a
team. So,
yeah. I would
so
probably
Chase is not back for 4 games. So
yeah, yeah. Okay, so he's thought fake news. Yep. Yes, that is fake news. He is not. He's out for the first 4 weeks. So, eh, not my thing. Um, so Will Hayes in the house. What's going on, Will? How you doing? What do y'all think about Mike Gesicki start or sit? We are going to be doing our start sit show on Friday, but I'm going to answer your question now just because why the hell not? I do think that Gesicki is someone that you can start. I'm a big fan of Gesicki. I do think that he is going to do something a little bit more than most. Um, Most people in the field think he isn't. They actually think he's going to be more of a blocking tight end. Um, but you have to do that in the system that he used to be a part of. So for me, I am on board with starting Mike Gesicki against the. I think what they're gonna do is try to shut down Tyreek, and that will open things up for Gesicki a lot more. Bill Belichick is known for trying to shut down the one option, and the one option is him. So I'm
yeah,
gonna go,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I would start him. I would start him if I have him. Not to say that's my like number one option to
yeah,
go
he's
to.
not my number one option, but I definitely would. So
But I think he could start if that's who you have.
and Cody says, and I call myself an NFL analyst. That's why I have an amateur tag before that label. That's okay, buddy. We're learning.
Yeah,
We're getting there. We're trying to build
we're all
ourselves
learning.
up. So don't you worry, my friend. You are doing just fine. Like I said, I didn't think that Chase was ready. I remember seeing something about it. So that's why I haven't even mentioned Washington as an option. I think that game's going to be more of a shootout than people think it is.
Oh yeah.
But
Let's see Wentz get straight.
beyond that, Frank, do you have anything else you want to bring up? Any guys, anything that you
No, we
want to
just need
talk
more
about?
subscribers. Get that 600 subscribers so we can do that giveaway. Throw the thing up there, Mike.
Oh, I
Trying to
will.
get
Actually, I love this thing because I
subscribers. So
love
I'm going to
creating
mention that.
stuff.
Also, still always want to mention Underdog Fantasy. Get over there, use the Get Right code, and then they match your money. Get in here, subscribe so you can possibly win a jersey. And other than that, hey, thanks for watching. When's the next show, Mike? Do we have a plan yet?
We got another show on Friday. Me and Ant will be breaking down all the games that are going to be coming up. The whole it's the best. We're going to try to cut it down. We don't want to make it a 4-hour show like we used to. But I put the promo code here for everybody. So make sure you guys are checking that out on Underdog. We will be back on Friday.
Break it down by divisions and kind of break it up.
No,
we have a whole 1 hour.
We have a whole. No, I hope not. No, we are basically we're going to do this as quick as possible. We're going to try to involve everybody as much as we can, but at the same time, we're going to let everybody know in advance that for Friday night, we're going to answer your start sit questions, but we're not going to answer everything right away like we do where it pops up when we answer it. We're going to wait a minute. We're going to wait for our break. After we break down the team, we're going to have just a quick little breakdown of it. I'm not going to write a whole book like I used to. It's just going to be a very quick rundown. We're going to try to run through all the games and give you our start sits. We're not going to name all the guys, who we would. We are going to kind of sit on the fringe like I did this did in the beginning, about Singletary and Henderson, guys like that. We're going to be talking about guys that are on that fringe of who you might start compared to guys that you are going to start. So we're going to try to do that on Friday. We're going to have I hope, a very nice short show. And then we will be back after Friday. We're going to be back on Sunday. I'm going to be here in the morning to help you guys out with your DFS lineups. I'm going to give you your actives, inactives, all that stuff at 11:30. I will be on at 11, but we're going to do actives and inactives at 11:30. I'll do DFS just right after we get all the inactives and actives, and then we're going to go from there. So thank you all for coming in today and watching and listening to this. And make sure, like we said before, make sure you guys are subscribing. When you guys subscribe, like I said, if we get this, hit the bell. We need to get up to 600 subscribers or more. So make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to the show. When we do that, like Frank said before, we're going to be doing our 600 subscriber giveaway. I'm just going to keep bringing this up over and over and over and over again. Please make sure you guys are subscribing. This will be for only eligible for subscribers. So make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel.
It might be a comment picker, even. It might be just the guys that are watching that day.
Yeah. So make sure you guys are checking. Continue to check us out. For me, for Frank, for Dustin, for Anthony, we are out of here. Have a good rest of your night. Later.